Hey, just looks like. Oh, okay. Well, then, hey, I picked the right one there. So, okay. And I looked at it a little bit. So that gives, and when they're doing it, and I know in the rural areas, the internet is a challenge, but are they implementing it via Zoom, or how are they interacting with the kids?
We use Microsoft Teams. So it's part of our Microsoft suite. All of our students and teachers have access to Microsoft Teams.
Oh, okay. And with Microsoft Teams, they're able to, in case they get some neat ideas of something that might make it more fun, they're able to pull up web pages and different kind of stuff.
Yeah, they can screen share through Microsoft Teams. So whatever they have on their screen, they're able to share through that.
Oh, okay. Kind of like we do in Zoom when we're sharing screens and everything.
Yeah.
Speaking of sharing screens, let me do that. And I'm going to try, I'm working on a laptop, so it'll jump around a little bit. I kind of feel like Schroeder on Peanuts trying to play the piano when I'm doing this, but I sent you guys this page that opened up in the browser. I've got one of our web pages on it, and I've got some YouTube videos here. Cloud Screen is, I call it an information sharing platform, but it's kind of, if you're familiar with digital signage or certainly digital billboards, imagine being able to wrap a web page around that and send content out. This is what you guys are looking at. This is the editor. And from this side, it's kind of a PowerPoint-ish looking thing where you've got a bunch of different content on the screen. And, you know, when somebody gets started, they've got a dashboard account, they can do presentations or what you create, kind of borrowing the word from Microsoft. Publications are the page that you send out to somebody. So I'm going to, oops, last open, come on, baby. All right. This is a presentation that I put together to show Tim O'Brien. I put some Aiken type things in it. David Jameson's real fond of saying that, saying and everything. So the interface itself, you're basically creating pages and you can put all kind of content together on it. And the cool thing I'm going to show you in a second, if I make changes to that and overwrite to publish it, it magically updates the page in front of you. So you can toss all kind of stuff into the mix. You can put images, an image slideshow. The rich text editor not only lets you do text, but it lets you, as you'll see that scrolling, you can also put links on that. You can do a clock. You can embed a lot of web pages and you can organize this however you want. And we also have some solid and rectangular outline geometrics that you can kind of style things up a little bit. For the smart people that know how to do custom coding, you can have blocks of code on there. So it's a simple, and I'll just put one more thing on here. You know, I'm going to put that and I'm going to put it over the page because everybody needs most of their information obscured, don't they? Let's say, come on. And here's a nice picture of an interactive screen on the wall. Has nothing to do with anything, but it's the first picture I came to. Image uploaded, so that looks horrible. So I'm going to update this. Now watch what happens on your end with web page, depending on the speed of internet. I changed the screen, thought of something last second, and now you're seeing something that you can, well, it's hard to interact with it because I hid most of the stuff. Did yours update yet?
Going back to the page. Yes.
Okay, it updated. So you can be, they can have a web page, if you will, open, but you can put new information on it at the drop of a hat. You can hide that information. If you wanted to have a bunch of stuff stacked up, like I've actually got 3 web pages here stacked up. I've got our old site. I'm gonna hide that guy. This hiding thing the show and hide, you can also schedule stuff if you were using it in the schools for a signage program. But in fact, I'm going to hide this one because they look too much alike. Now I've got a web page for a company that I'm friends with the owner on there, and I'll put the slideshow up. So I'm changing the content that's on there. I'm going to make the text thing quit scrolling because I've seen it scroll enough. And I'm going to update it again. And instead of looking like a horrible mess, it's less of a horrible mess when it updates this time. Probably going to take a little longer because I'm changing out the web pages that are on there. And any questions you got, hop in anytime when you think of something. That's usually when I ask questions before I forget something. There we go. So now we've got a slideshow that I can go through there, and their web page is on the screen, and I can navigate around in that. So I can put a lot of blocks of information together on the screen, text, pictures, links to stuff, etc. And start it, oops, let me go back and create one from scratch. I mean, you start with a blank canvas and then you can add the various elements on here. I'm going to put a web page here. As long as it can be embedded, you can put any web page. I was just checking APS, your all's website, APSD.net, and that one couldn't be embedded. So I was kind of sticking with the ones that I knew could be embedded. Okay, so there's ours. I'm going to put it in a little box and I'm going to put it there. Just for fun, I'm going to put a solid rectangle. I'm going to call that background because if I wind up with 100 things on the page called new something, oops. Yes. And then that looks dumb. I'm going to move that there. I'm going to put him over in the corner. And black is a nice color, but I'm more of a blue kind of guy, so I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to create the magic thing, which is something I can send out to people. If I've misspelled it, we'll go with it. And you can give them meaningful names, so you'll actually be able to remember what something is. And once you get the view, you've got a URL that you can send people for the event. So if you need to add additional capabilities into what you guys are doing, this is a pretty easy way to do it and quite powerful from being able to put pages together and have them auto refresh before their very eyes. So that, yeah.
Jeff, when you share it with students, so I'm assuming the intent would be, how we could use it with students. So you're just sharing the URL link with them?
Correct.
Access, okay.
Yeah, you're basically putting together a program, if you will, for them to be able to interact with content on the screen. And they can be interacting with this. It's not just a sharing your screen with them kind of thing in a Zoom world. It's let me put together this whole immersive thing that I know Johnny is crazy about baseball. And, today we're talking about sports legends. So you could put together this whole interactive world for him or her or whatever, and then they can have all of this stuff to interact with, not just sitting there listening to the teacher talk, about that particular topic and sharing their desktop.
Yeah.
And let me pull up, well, let me get on my web page and it'll be easier to, let's see, idsinc.tech. I've done a bunch of samples, and let me get down here. It's like when we did the graduations live and they talked about wanting to stream the graduations, everybody thinks of streaming is click a link here and watch the video. And I told them we could do a whole lot more than just that, because when you're watching a graduation, either in person or virtually, you're basically interested in one or two kids tops. So this gave everybody that was waiting for their kid to come across stage. It was live then and now it's on YouTube, but you know, you had the senior pictures here they could flip through. The chap that was over the school board back then couldn't be 3 or 4 places at the same time doing his famous hat deal, but the video could be there on the page and they could open it and be watching it on their phone, the tablet, the computer, whatever, you know, and then let the sponsors have a little light in the sun. And instead of worrying about printing programs, you got that available. So, and after the graduations were history, then we put together all of them as a souvenir page. And it was basically, then they could put that on the school's webpage and the kids could go back and relive it as often as they wanted to. In the case of Barnwell High, I did all of their home games and the Silver Bluff football game. They had a link on the home page, watch the live stream, and that page popped up. Oh, heck, let me go ahead and do that because I'm real close to it. They would go to the home page and watch this one and it popped up. And of course, if I had the link live and they were running into each other on the field, you'd see it there. Then we had a slideshow here that was souvenir pictures from the season and something that was kind of fun. And this probably would be outside the scope of the kids or learning. I had a couple of the yearbook gals with their phone taking pictures and emailing them to an address I gave them. And the pictures actually showed up in the slideshow during the game. And I was on top of the press box in between shooting video. When there'd be a little time, I'd take pictures and emails. So we were able to create a slideshow of candid shots during the event, which was kind of cool. And after the games were over, I would create a souvenir page for each one, and their athletics page has like half a dozen links, you know, watch the Silver Bluff game again, the Wade Hampton, the whoever. So then they could go back and relive them as often as they want to. And the same kind of deal if your teachers were using these to create this immersive about sports or science or whatever pages of information, you could save all of these out as I call them souvenir or legacy or whatever words you want to use page. But then you could have a whole bunch of go back and look at it again in case you didn't get it pages that could be then, I mean, once you get the URL, it's either a link to text on a website, or it's a link, or it's tied to a graphic like mine are.
Yeah.
But Cloud Screen allows you to put together some really involved layouts. Like I did a couple of band competitions up in the Midlands, and we got essentially no promotion for this one. I created the page that we had for Saturday's event on Friday, gave them a QR code that had some simple landing page directions. Click here and you're watching a band competition. They printed that and put it around the River Bluff Stadium, and the announcer would occasionally put the QR code on the Jumbotron and tell people, hey, look at this thing and share it with your friends. We had 140 people looking at this page that night. And, you know, there's the sponsors, there's the band competition now on YouTube. I was taking pictures because it was a long day, had the schedule, and you got the pinch and stretch and all of that. we had 140 people watch this one. Now we actually got a little email blast on this on Tuesday for Saturday's competition, and we had 2,500 people tune into this page. So again, giving the sponsors some time in the sun. This time I had the directions of how to do the picture thing on the screen, and the band moms took candid shots at the event. So, you know, Cloud Screen and our capabilities will let you do a lot, and certainly way beyond what PowerPoint will let you do. And you could pull in tons and tons of resources depending on what, you know, if it's an awards day kind of thing. Obviously, this was a celebration of life, but it's real easy to celebrate accomplishments this way and get a whole lot more going on than the typical slideshow or video. And the cool thing is, if you need to change it live on the fly because you thought of something else, or you all are doing something where stuff is changing, you can change it at the drop of a hat and have the pages update.
It's kind of a live feed for your web page.
Exactly. It's live, it's dynamic. Anything that you can't embed in a page, you can always put a link on the text. Let me go back, find that one. I was talking to an attorney about the platform, and I said, Rob, would this be good in legal circles? Let me see if I can figure out where his is. It's like everything, you do enough of anything, you start forgetting where you put stuff. And I don't remember what I called it. That's the bad thing. Shucks. But I had one, like he said, I said, you can share videos on YouTube, no problem. He said, we couldn't do that because YouTube would be able to look at them and there'd be evidence. I said, well, what do you use? He said, Dropbox. So I couldn't embed Dropbox, but I had a link to click here to watch a video on Dropbox, and it was just a shared video. This is a page that I put together. I'm working with the technology incubator up in USC in Columbia. And Caroline and I were pitching the concept of this thing that I call the Knowledge Rock, where we were going to have this interactive kiosk down on Main and Gervais. And unfortunately, they're building a statue, so we can't put it in that spot. But we pitched this, and I told her that I would put the information together in the Cloud Screen page. So this was the PowerPoint presentation I put together for. Here's a slideshow of some samples. And you notice how captions slide on with the pictures. We've got a slideshow program that I give you a copy of. It's real easy, drag and drop. And if you rename the picture something meaningful beyond just JPEG 1, 2, 3, you give them meaningful names, you can actually have a little caption slide on. And again, YouTube playlists are, I'm real fond of them because you can have, you know, tons and tons of videos. They don't have to be yours, as long as you can get a link to a public video off of YouTube. You can put all kinds of videos together to pull together some information as well. And, you know, update it as you want. Here's one where I've got a link to a PDF. So if she wanted to look at it this way, that was about the maintenance. If she had, if they liked what we were doing and wanted to know more, then about how much does it cost to run this system, there it is. So if most of my other presentations are kind of boring and blocky looking because I don't have any graphic skills. This one, I was able to grab some graphics from some flyers that were produced for me and dress up the background a little bit.
Jeff, is there, so the videos that you have on there, are they embedded into the web page, or are they taking them to a different site? It appears that they're actually embedded, so you're watching the video there.
Yeah, right. To give you the behind the scenes, we build a page in Cloud Screen in elements. The elements are basically boxes that you specify the content in them, Mickey. Like these are web page. All three of these are web page elements. And for YouTube, what I've done is create a YouTube playlist for this, which a playlist is basically an empty digital bucket, and then you put videos in there. So once I create the playlist, all I got to do is add videos to them and they'll show up here. So these are embedded in the page, if you will, but you don't have to know a lot of fancy coding to put this stuff together. It's basically just, in that case, here's a web page. I want to put him over here, and I will specify the URL of that page. And of course, I can, make the position exact. I don't have to do this, yeah, that's kind of close thing. But it's basically specifying the content of the elements that you put on screen so that you just point it to the URL for that particular web page. Or it's, here's a little text block, and that's the cool thing. Here it's just a text block. Here it's a text block that's got a link on the text. So anything that you can't embed, you can put links to get it to open another page. So it gives you, you can pull the whole internet together in a nice way to share the information, and any stuff that can't be embedded. Like I can't embed youtube.com, but I can embed a YouTube playlist all day long because that's the social media element of it. I can't embed facebook.com, but I can embed
any videos or any of them.
Do what?
There's not a limit on the amount of videos or the length of the videos or any of that.
No, as long as it's on YouTube and I can get the URL, either my stuff. Let's say that the teacher is, trying to do Newton's old thing, dropping a heavy thing, dropping a light thing, and watching them fall at the same time. If you shot that 30 minutes before class with your phone, upload that to YouTube, add it to the list, and say, see, Newton was right. And so, yeah, you can put just as many as you want. It's kind of, let me find, oh, poo, okay. The older I get, the further I got to be from stuff to see it for some reason. So this one was a perfect example. They hired me on Monday to do something for his tribute on Friday. I told him, great, send me pictures, send me links to videos, because he was a musician. And I was thinking of cobbling together the typical funeral sort of celebration thing. But that was Monday. They finally started sending me links to videos and pictures Thursday at 1 a.m. So I don't have a lot of time to put something together for Friday, the traditional thing. But I had Cloud Screen. So what I did was, I'm going to make this part of the screen be the YouTube thing, because I know when they start sending me links, I'll be able to add them to the list. And they sent me a total of 20 of them. They started sending me pictures, and I created a slideshow in the utility that we have. And I Googled his old bit and pulled out some words to do that little scrolling thing at the bottom. And this was ready for showtime on Friday. I had it up, projector, sound system, the whole shooting match. And it was an hour before, well, it was at 4 o'clock on Friday. The celebration was supposed to start at 5. I look down at my phone while I'm resting. They're sending me more links. They're sending me more pictures. The normal thing at that point would be to say, sorry, guys, it's too late to add the content. But I have my laptop with me, so all I had to do was log into my YouTube account, add the new videos that they sent the links. And the great thing too about a YouTube playlist, once you create one and add videos to it, you can also rearrange them to get like the most important ones or fun ones first, and add and delete and move stuff around. So I added the YouTube videos into the playlist. The extra pictures they sent me, I recreated the slideshow and uploaded that. Hit the overwrite button to publish it, and boom, it changes on the screen automatically. So they kind of threw me under the bus with content coming late, and certainly an hour before showtime is not a time to be getting new stuff, but I was able to do that very easily. So if you need to, and the great thing about it, if they want to do kind of a reveal of information, you can have them stacked up and then hide this one so you don't see it, and hide another one. So you can kind of reveal stuff as you want to in the lesson, and they're looking and interacting with the page, so you can keep it as dynamic and fresh as you want to.
Yeah. Very, very good possibilities.
It'll make your head hurt with possibilities once you start thinking about it, because, if you've got, when they are at school, if you've got screens up there that you use for information, all you got to do is create, Aiken High info screens.html page and, update that stuff. They're doing the hybrid thing or the virtual thing. You got that going on. So the content,
I can definitely, Jeff, see our communications department needing to meet with you and talk about possibilities. I know that, I'll just go ahead and be candid. Where we are in the instructional realm right now, we have bitten off so much, and our teachers, I don't think, could handle one more training. So, Schoology is our platform, and they're just trying to manipulate that now. And I just need to be honest.
sure.
I can see great potential, especially in delivering information and communicating information on school websites. And, if we could get you together with Mike and Stephanie from communications.
I know them well.
Yeah. So to me, that's an easier transition to consider something like this right now. I don't know, Mickey, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it has lots of potential. But I'm kind of with you on the issue of, if we ask teachers to learn one more thing right now,
there would be a rebellion.
We're still really kind of, mastering the programs that we have in place.
Sure.
They've made great strides, but we're still working on that proficiency level for teachers and students. So, that would be the other thing, is, in addition to training teachers on the creation and use of it, we're also looking at a learning curve with our students and being able to use it too. So
absolutely. Something I would like to toss out there, because we have 3 different price point products with Cloud Screen. If somebody just wants an account so they can make pages for what they're doing, that single user account, I basically set them up, teach them to fish, if you will, to create pages, and then they can create pages for themselves or somebody else. What I was going to talk to the Orangeburg district, because they've hired me to be project manager and coordinate all the resources for their virtual graduations. I went by I went by all the high schools, and the ones I did last Friday, I showed the principal and the graduation director, etc., the Silver Bluff page. This is kind of what I was going to recommend that we do for the graduations. You not only have the video, but all this other stuff. But let me tell you a little bit more about Cloud Screen while we're at it. And I showed them the capabilities and everything. I told them what I was going to do there was talk to the district about getting what I call an organization account, where the district could have the account, set up user accounts for each school, and then the user accounts, the school, no matter who it is, could be logging in and creating stuff. So what I'd like to propose, circle back around to King, if you guys had an organization account for Aiken School District. And I know, you guys, the world has been thrown under the bus, and my Lord, all of the changes you guys have had to make in the last year is we crammed into 12 months, basically, what would have taken years probably for you guys to adopt under normal circumstances. So what I would envision is the district getting a subscription setting up user accounts for each school. And this could be a gradual thing that the teachers could jump on board as they jump on board. It would be kind of fun for the techie, graphics, artists, communication kids at the school. This could be something that they could create content for the pages or help with the implementation. And certainly for being able to live stream the games, you know, any competition you could make a page for. And the great thing, especially in this virtual world, is you can set these up and use services to sell tickets to events. And this is getting beyond the curriculum thing like you guys.
Yeah, it's way beyond us, Jeff.
I know.
I really, you know, and I'd like to connect you with Mike and Stephanie, because so much of what you're talking about is, you know, embedding those things that are events at schools and anything done like that. It's going to have to be woven into our current platforms, I think. And so, you know, we have contracts with Blackboard and some other things. And so Mike would be able to speak to the possibilities there. I just know from an instructional standpoint, I know we can't fit it into instruction right now,
Sure.
but that doesn't mean we couldn't fit it into other possibilities. I mean, I think we're still talking to you, right, about virtual graduations again this year.
I'm waiting to hear because
Yeah.
I guess they
No,
haven't
we're
really
still
decided.
working. Yeah,
Okay.
senior staff is still working on some of those, you know, even what that's going to look like for this year. So, but you know, King did mention that, you know, we were in talks with you again about doing it. But if Mike and Mary Glenn's not here with us anymore. Mike and Stephanie, because all of those inner workings, Mickey and I don't know about.
Sure.
You know, the different platforms, and we have parameters that schools have to use, or that schools have to function within with regard to their web pages, and I don't know that. So, you know, our focus is solely what are teachers using, and right now that's PowerPoint, all of the Microsoft Office suite, and then Schoology. You know, that's been our focus.
Right.
And we really can't stray from that right now. Doesn't mean that we couldn't look at it later, but I just don't want to not give you the opportunity to talk to those who could really use the services possibly right now. And that's, of course, through our existing platforms. We'd have to see how those would marry, because we have contracts, you know, that we have to abide by as well. So
If you could, that was something I was wanting, Schoology, and I'm glad to hear you guys are using that. If you guys could send, I don't know if it's a list of 500 things, but if you could send me a list of some of the tools that you guys are contractually using beyond Schoology, I'd like to see how they incorporate with this. Because when I was talking to King and when he set this meeting up, I said, King, I'm just hearing the woes of the teachers and trying to, Lord, what you all have to do is amazing. The kids and trying to, you know, the parents trying to keep them engaged and everything. And I said, King, you're about as old as I am. You remember chalkboards. This is kind of a digital chalkboard to stick stuff on. I just wanted to see if it would be a tool to help on that. And that got us together. So, and again, you know, this is like anything else. This is like any brand new thing that's come out, be it the VCR, be it the washing machine, be it the microwave. Everybody doesn't jump and grab a hold of something right off. You get the early adopters that are brave enough to click buttons, and then, you know, with time, well, heck, if Johnny is doing it and he's not that bright, I can probably figure it out, kind of thing. So I would envision it to be certainly a learning curve thing, but, you know, something with time would be woven into the fabric of what you guys do. And I had given Mike, I know them, I got a call from Charles Boise with IT. when y'all did the last town hall thing, he called me at noon that Monday and said, "Can you help us out with the town hall?" I said, "Where do you need me and when?" He said, "At Silver Bluff High at 6 o'clock tonight." So that was a full-blown fire drill, pulling all the stuff together and heading to Silver Bluff. But yeah, I've worked with Mike and Stephanie. I met her at that, so I'm familiar with them. Mike and I had a brief, let me show you some stuff about cloud screen thing. And again, everybody in your all's world, well, it's like everybody's plate is full and stuff's falling off, and you gotta, you know, stay focused. But yeah, that would definitely be the low hanging fruit beginning of the district having it. So I'll circle around, thank you guys, and copy what do you all recommend as the best circle around? And thank you all for your time. And I forgot to ask if y'all minded me recording this, but I figured I'd record it and then share it with you so you can remember what all did he talk about.
Sure, sure.
So what would you all recommend for a circle back follow-up thanks for time kind of email?
So if you want to send an email to us thanking us for our time, you can mention that I said something about you're getting with Mike and Stephanie to talk about, you know, are there possibilities with our current contracts to use a platform like CloudScreen?
Okay.
CloudScreen, is that right?
Yep.
Okay. And so, and then I'll also follow up with King about the meeting.
Okay. Yeah, very good. Because I was talking to the teacher. Well, I was talking with the football coaches in Orangeburg when I was down at Stowe High, and as I looked, and they had 18 schools in that organization account. For the 18 schools in the district to have it, it was like 36. Did I do that right? No, it was about whatever it wound up per school. It wound up like $300 a year per school. You could trick out every school to do as much stuff as they wanted. So not a lot of money to have a tool there for everybody. Now we do have a totally white label branded thing where you can create, you know, you're kind of the solar system creating planets that are populated with users. And then you got these individual user things out there. I'll give you all the price point stuff, and if King figures it, let's jump in with that user thing and at least give that a shot and see what happens. We can certainly do that. But I'm excited about the possibilities. Your all's world is just, it's not going to be an overnight. Every teacher's going to say, hey, one more thing to learn. Yay. So cool. Yeah. Well, ladies, I appreciate it. It's nice to meet you guys virtually as we're all doing. So anyway, I will send this over, send a thank you email, and be happy. I don't know if Mike and Stephanie got sick, but I think did Mike have COVID a little while back? Somebody in the communications was sick.
They're at work.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah,
good deal.
They're both at work.
Well, yay. That's good to hear. It's always nice when people get back in the saddle after having a bout with that. So, but anyway,
they're both doing fine.
Very cool. So ladies, it's been a pleasure. I'll let
Thank you, Jeff.
You're quite welcome. I'll let you get back into your way full plate for today. So,
Thank you. It was very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.